extending ourselves a little bit into slightly more difficult territory today as the practice moves on and as we go through the categories. Choosing today the dear friend or family member, somebody who is close to you. If your easy person was a dear friend or family member, you can actually start with this person for about 5 minutes. But the intention of this category is actually somebody with whom we have a good relation, but they do not automatically cause joy to arise when we're around them. So a close and loving relationship, but one that's a bit more complicated. Or actually another way of saying that is one that is not just sunny and wonderful most of the time. But please don't choose a difficult person. This is a balance we need to strike. So just somebody in our family member we're close to, but sometimes they bring up dosa, sometimes they don't. So it could be a sibling, for example, with whom we have a decent relationship, not a troubled relationship. But still there's just a little bit of maybe competitiveness there. A little bit, not a lot, please.
He wants to know what dosa exactly means. I was actually wanted to tell you if I should translate it.
Yes, thank you. Please do.
Aversion, right?
Right.
Ok. Sì, dosa vuol dire avversione.
Thank you. Thank you for that question. So somebody not really difficult or even a bit difficult, but not just so simple and easy. Somebody more in the middle that we're close to, but somebody with whom we have a reasonably good connection. So this is just a small step deeper into the water of challenge. Oh, exactly. Siblings are really good here so long as we don't have an antagonistic relationship with them. So a sibling with whom we actually have a good relationship, but we're still siblings. Stuff will come up. So taking a moment to reflect who you would like to choose for today's practice. Oh, and I forgot to say, you can also choose a coworker with whom you have a good relationship, a really good working relationship, but there's a friendly competition. So we'll go into the silent practice now in the same ways we have before. And taking a moment to rest back in presence and kindness. And if you want to begin with somebody very easy, please feel free to spend 5 minutes or so with this easy person before going on to the dear friend or family member. Cultivating gladness for their good fortune and their success. Using that phrase that you've chosen, the same phrase is really good. It becomes a habit. But making certain that you connect with what you're wishing for this person. And continuing in the silence, moment to moment, to incline the heart to this glad well-wishing. avirahontu, avyapajahontu, anigahontu, sukhiyatana, pariharantu, dukkhamuchantu, yatalada sampatito mavikachantu, kamasakam. So continuing with this same person through today in your formal sitting and walking. So if the practice, the formal sitting and walking practice, seems to be reasonably steady, tomorrow morning before the session, in the morning session, you can choose a second person in the same category. But please don't feel any pressure to do that. It's not better than just staying with the same person. And if you encounter serious difficulties in your practice of some sort or another, feel free to go to somebody easier, perhaps the first person you chose a couple of days ago. And of course, in your daily practice, your general activities practice, everything else besides sitting and walking, finding and getting creative about finding ways to bring mudita into your daily life, using everything at your fingertips as potential place of the practice. So, yeah, this can actually be, you can, depending on how stable your practice is, you can even use whatever irritation might be arising in your daily life as what Thich Nhat Hanh used to call a mindfulness spell. So if dosa arises, if ill will arises, use that. So, perhaps you're driving and somebody cuts in front of you. If there's just this reflex of irritation, then see if you can find a way to turn the mind away from that and more towards mudita. So for example, you're driving and somebody does something quite reckless in front of you, cuts in front of you. The mudita, one aspect of mudita under those circumstances is, boy, you're really lucky we didn't collide. I have a little phrase I sometimes use for people like that. It's like, oh, you have a guardian angel that's working really hard. How lucky for you. So turning towards humor is very, very helpful, as Katerina reminded us. Okay. So does anybody have any questions? No? Now's your chance, particularly those of you who are either auditors or do not have a group meeting today. Yes, Erna.
Buongiorno. Good morning. Somebody had a question about waking up every hour this morning. Unfortunately, I do not remember her name. It was this morning.
Sorry, Erna?
Unfortunately, I do not remember her name. It was this morning.
Yeah, I wanted to answer Anna's question after anybody else who had a question.
Marcin?
Yes. I wanted to ask about dealing with difficult emotions during this kind of meditation, because in my case, they have started coming up, especially with the
Hang on.
new person.
If you could wait before I need to turn up my volume because I'm really having a hard time hearing you with the background noise.
I wanted to ask about, thank you, about
Yeah.
dealing with how to approach difficult emotions in this kind of meditation, because in my case, I mean, you have talked about it earlier a little bit, but in my case, for example, this has come up today with the choice of this new person, where
Yeah.
apart from this nice, warm feeling of Mudita, there is also some kind of a tension or emotion which is somehow more difficult or more ambiguous towards this person.
Mm.
And so I was just wondering what you would advise in terms of approaching it.
Yeah, thank you for that question, Wilson, because I will be speaking a bit more in detail about it tonight. But one of the main things to say just in general is to understand that what you're describing is exactly right. Because as we go through the practice, these ambiguities or these difficulties or these places where we might not have the clear connection with that person we thought we did, these things emerge and we see them. That's the purification. So it's really normal. And that always helps to know that, actually, because then there's really not a lot you need to do with it. I'll speak in general about that tonight, but just to ride the waves of that and do whatever you need to do, keep unhooking from whatever that reactivity is and turning again and again to the mudita. Yeah, anyone else? I'm very quiet group today. I don't know if this is a good sign or not.
Well, then I might go with my question. I didn't want to interrupt.
Please go, Michelle.
Sister, please. I couldn't follow the whole meeting because I just came at the last moment. I don't get the difference. You know, all the hindrances, dosha, everything is fine. But the subtle difference between mudita and metta, I struggle a little bit with the differences.
The state or the states, plural, of mudita and metta are actually not so different. They're both friendly, tender, well-wishing. In the case of metta, it's just in general, may you be happy, may you be well, may you be peaceful. In the case of mudita, it's that very state, but turning specifically to let in the success or good fortune of somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah. And Michelle, I'll answer your question about emotional releases tonight. Yeah. Likewise, Anna's question. So I want to end the session today with an energizing, uplifting chant. Yes. And this is the Four Boundless States in Pali. This is a favorite of a lot of people. It really gets the energy moving. If you're feeling sluggish or bored or irritated or sleepy, it's a wonderful chant. And it's also a wonderful chant to walk fast too. So I'll go full speed. Ekaterina is ready. Metta sahagatena cetasa ekandi samparitva viharati tata dutiyam tata tatiyam tata chatutam vidiyu damado tiriyam sabadi saba tataya saba vantam lokam metta sahagatena cetasa Vipulena Mahagatena Apamanena Averena Abhyapajena Paritva Viharati Karunasa Gatena Chetasa Ekandisam Paritva Viharati Tata Dutiyam Tata Tatiyam Tata Chatutam Hitiyu Damado Tiriyam Sabadisa Patataya sabhavantam lokam karuna sahagatena chetasa vipulena mahagatena apamanena awarena abhyapajena aritva viharati mudita sahagatena chetasa ekam disam haritva viharati tata tatiyam tata chatutam Idiu Damado Tiriam Sabati Sabatataya Sa Bhavantam Lokam Mudita Sahagatena Cheta Sa Vipulena Mahagatena Apamanena Awarena Abhyapajena Haritva Viharati Upeka Sahagatena Cheta Sa Ekam disam haritva viharati tata tatiyam tata chatutam idiu damado tiriam sabati sabatataya sabhavantam Mahagatena chetasa vipulena Mahagatena avamanena awarena abhyapajena haritva viharati. One thing that's really quite fun to do with this chant is to take out the verse about Mudita and do it over and over and over again as you walk. Just chant that to yourself. And if you're in a place where there's nobody around, you can chant it out loud. And using chants in this way in your general activities, when you're doing the dishes or when you're cooking or when you're walking, when you're driving a car, it really helps keep the mind inclining to mudita. So I want to close with a tranquilizing chant that you can use in the same way. If the mind is restless or irritated, doesn't want to, it's having a little bit of a temper tantrum, this can be very useful. And again, it's the four boundless states, but just metta, karuna, mudita. Metta, karuna, mudita, upeka. 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 So thank you, everybody, for your presence, your sincere practice. I will see 7 of you very soon.